Hey, good afternoon. It is Easter Sunday, um, and I just want to, give God the glory because um, today is a celebration um, uh, of Christ rising from the dead, and and I believe that although this is something that we should reflect daily in our lives and have that understanding daily, today is a specific day to celebrate that act, and I don't I never seek to undermine that act or this day, because it is a day to celebrate, it is a day to rejoice, because Jesus is alive, and he right now as we speak is at the right hand of the Father, um, in intercession for his people, and and preparing himself to return unto us once again as a king, as a warrior, to bring heaven to earth and rule and reign with us for 1,000 years. Uh, I mean, the presence of God is magnificent, and it is thick as I speak, because I speak truth to you, and I would never lie to you because I love you, and God would never lie to us because He loves us, um, and I am just a messenger of His grace. So, um, happy Easter, as they call it, happy day of resurrection. Our Lord Jesus is alive and well. He is the only man to ever rise from the grave, and the importance of what he did for us is incredible, because in his death he conquered life, and when he rose again, he conquered death. Then he rose unto the right hand of God and sent us his Spirit to abide in us, that we may do the same and be victorious in life and in death. So I mean, that is glorious in itself, and we are to rejoice because we are more than conquerors in Him. E100, day 13, I believe, and the read today is Genesis chapter 42. I'm gonna be quick in and out because I gotta get to the Easter parties and all that. So I just wanted to get this knocked out. Now, when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, uh, and by Jacob we know that it's Israel, the father of Joseph. Now, when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said to his sons, "Why do you look upon each other?" And he said, "Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither, and buy for us some thence, that we may live and not die." And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt, but Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob did not send with his brethren, for he said, "Let us peradventure mischief befall him." And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan, and Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed themselves before him with their faces to the earth. Um, I want to call it Joseph's dream. Uh, Joseph's dreams fulfilled. Um, God gave Joseph a dream in his younger age that his brothers will one day befall him, bow to him. Now, I want to point out that Joseph Joseph's dream showed him the result, or it showed him the fulfillment of a promise from God, but it never showed him the process. I think it'd be safe to bet that if Joseph saw the process before he saw the result, he would have never positioned himself to go through what he had to go through in order to arrive at the place in which God wanted him, or God promised that he would arrive. Now, I think that's very important, because sometimes God has to keep us a little bit ignorant to the process, because how can we willingly walk into tribulation? How can we willingly walk into a place of discomfort and of lack and just overall pain? We would never voluntarily say, yeah, God, send me there, because it is just not in our nature. So what I want to say is that, there is a process that we all have to go through in order to arrive at the promise, but nonetheless, there is a promise, and God gives us the promise, and all we have to understand is that that promise will come to pass. That promise will be fulfilled in our lives, and God will be glorified in us, bringing us to the place where we find abundance or whatnot. So Joseph came to the place where he saw his dreams fulfilled and his brother bowing down to him, but he never knew in what state they would be coming unto him in. So he took advantage of knowing that he was. I'm sorry. He took advantage of knowing that he was in the position where God wanted him to be. So although he did see his brothers bow to him, he didn't reveal himself unto his brother because he believed that there was a greater purpose into what God was doing, and God granted him the wisdom to go about it in a manner in which not many would go to it, because these are the guys that heard his dream and cast him into the pit and sold him into slavery. Now Joseph is in a very, very tough spot because he has all the power in the world to exercise over his brothers who gave him up for dead and sold him into slavery. I mean, it would take a lot not to not for revenge not to boil up in your heart when your brothers put you in that kind of position, but the Lord granted Joseph the necessary wisdom to do what he had to do. Now, when Joseph left his family and he was proclaimed dead years after, Rebekah, in her old age, gave another son, which was Benjamin, and it was the youngest brother. But Joseph held Benjamin very tight to him because of what happened to Joseph, and he thought that Joseph was dead or whatnot. So his brothers traveled to Egypt without Joseph. They traveled to Egypt without Benjamin. Now Joseph said, "Oh, you have another brother? I want to see this brother." And he sent his brothers back, and he kept one of the brothers imprisoned in the jail while those brothers went back to Israel, or to Jacob, to tell him what happened. Um, and I don't believe we're going into chapter 43 yet. But what I want to say is that. I want to reiterate, what I said in the beginning. First of all, we got to understand that our God-given dreams, our God-given aspirations are the same dreams and aspirations that will sometimes put us into the pit, because it was his dream that not only was his favor did his favor tick off his brothers, but when Joseph announced his God-given dream to his brothers, that pulled the last string, and that was the catalyst. Joseph's God-given dream was the catalyst for putting him in the hole, and for getting him sold into slavery and exiled from his family, and just totally turned his world upside down. So sometimes your God-given dreams will turn your life upside down, but rest assured that God-given dream will come to pass, and God is faithful to his promises, and he is a covenant-keeping God, and he will keep his promises with you, and with your family and with your descendants, and whatever God spoke to you, God will let it come to pass. But I just want to point out that it is the God-given dream that hurtled him into that hole and got him sold into slavery. And it was the process in which he had to go through to arrive at the destination which God brought him to, that built him up to be the man that he needed to be in order to come to the place in which his brothers would bow to him. So never forsake the process, and be prepared that to be prepared and understand that it is your dream that will one day that can one day put you in a position of discomfort, in a position of of pain, and it'll turn your whole world upside down. But at the finish line, you will be able to look back and give God all the glory, and all the honor, because everything under the sun is under his control, and everything happens for a reason. And we will one day arrive at the place of our promise, and be able to glorify God in the highest, because everything works for the good who love for everything works for the good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. My brothers, my sisters, God bless you. Have a wonderful Resurrection Sunday, and be blessed of the Lord. Peace.